Based on the historical data and forecast, Bitcoin has been fluctuating within a range, testing the support level of $109,800 and the resistance level of $112,500. The RSI indicates that the asset is currently in a neutral to slightly oversold territory, hovering around 40. The Bollinger Bands show that the price is nearing the lower band, suggesting a potential bounce. Given these factors, I propose a moderately bullish strategy. We will initiate a long position when the price touches the support level of $109,800. The stop loss will be set slightly below the support at $108,700 to mitigate potential losses if the price breaks down further. The initial target price will be the resistance level at $112,500. To refine this strategy, we'll incorporate the RSI and Bollinger Band signals. If the RSI rises above 50 while the price is near the lower Bollinger Band, it strengthens the buy signal. In this scenario, we'll enter a long position at $110,500, with a stop loss at $109,400 and a target price of $112,500. If the price breaks above the upper Bollinger Band and the RSI exceeds 70, we'll consider taking profits at $113,500. This layered approach allows for flexibility and maximizes potential returns while managing risk effectively. The portfolio will prioritize the RSI and Bollinger Band strategy as it provides more dynamic signals compared to solely relying on support and resistance levels. Based on the historical data and forecast, Ethereum shows a slight upward trend. The price has been fluctuating between a support of $4,310 and a resistance of $4,780. The RSI indicates that the asset is currently in a neutral zone, with values hovering around 55. The Bollinger Bands suggest periods of volatility, with the price occasionally touching the upper and lower bands. Considering the forecast for the next week, with prices predicted to range from $44.90 to $46.90, I recommend a long position strategy. We will enter a long position at $4,490, placing a stop-loss order at $4,310, just below the established support level. The initial target price will be $4,690, aligning with the upper end of the forecast range and the recent resistance level. To refine the strategy, we'll incorporate the RSI and Bollinger Bands. If the RSI dips below 20, oversold, we'll consider an additional long entry. Conversely, if the RSI reaches 80, overbought, we'll consider closing the position or tightening the stop loss. Furthermore, if the price touches the lower Bollinger Band, it signals a potential buying opportunity, while touching the upper band suggests a potential selling point. The portfolio will prioritize the long position based on the forecast and support/resistance levels, with RSI and Bollinger Bands used as secondary indicators for fine-tuning entry and exit points. If the price reaches $4,690, we will set a target price of $4,810. Based on the historical data and forecast, XRP shows a mixed trend with periods of consolidation and minor upward movements. The RSI fluctuates around the mid-level, indicating neither strong overbought nor oversold conditions. However, the recent dip in RSI towards 39.6 and 39.5 suggests a potential oversold scenario, and the forecast price remains relatively stable around $2.83 to $2.84. Considering these factors, I propose a moderately bullish strategy with a focus on capitalizing on potential short-term upward movements. My recommended strategy is to enter a long position at $2.83, coinciding with the initial forecast price and the recent price action. The stop loss should be set at $2.76, aligning with the established support level, to limit potential losses. The initial target price is $2.86, the recent resistance level. If the price breaks through $2.86, a secondary target price of $2.97 can be considered, based on the recent historical high. This strategy combines the RSI oversold signal, Bollinger Bands analysis, and support/resistance levels for a balanced approach to maximize returns while minimizing risk. Based on the historical data and forecast, BNB shows a slightly upward trend with support at $845 and resistance at $880. The RSI fluctuates between 51.9 and 67.3, indicating periods of both oversold and overbought conditions. The Bollinger Bands suggest periods of volatility, with the price occasionally touching the upper and lower bands. Considering these factors, I recommend a combined strategy utilizing RSI and Bollinger Bands. We will enter a long position when the RSI falls below 50 and the price touches the lower Bollinger Band. The entry price will be $820, with a stop-loss placed just below the lower Bollinger Band at $810. The initial target price will be the resistance level of $880. To refine this strategy, we will incorporate the forecast data. The forecast prices for the next week are generally above $860, reinforcing the upward trend. Therefore, if the RSI dips below 50 and the price hits the lower Bollinger Band, which is $820, we will enter a long position. The stop loss will be set at $810, and the first target price will be $860. If the price reaches $860, we will move the stop loss to the entry price of $820 and set a second target price at $880 to capture further gains. This combined strategy leverages both technical indicators and forecast data to maximize potential returns while managing risk effectively. Based on the historical data and forecast, Solana shows a generally upward trend with some volatility. The support price consistently holds at $200, while the resistance price is $256. The RSI fluctuates between 50 and 63, indicating periods of neither extreme oversold nor overbought conditions. The Bollinger Bands have been widening recently, suggesting increased volatility and potential for price movement. Considering this, I propose a long position strategy with an entry price of $209. A stop loss should be set at $197 to protect against a potential downturn, and a target price of $220, based on the forecast, offers a reasonable profit margin. To refine the strategy, I'll incorporate the RSI and Bollinger Band signals. If the RSI dips below 30, consider a long entry at the bottom of the Bollinger Bands, say $175, with a stop loss at $165 and a target price of $200. Conversely, if the RSI rises above 70, a short position near the top of the Bollinger Bands, around $218, with a stop loss at $220 and a target price of $195 could be considered. Combining these signals, a weighted portfolio favoring the long position due to the overall upward trend appears most efficient, with adjustments based on real-time RSI and Bollinger Band indications. Based on the historical data and forecast, Dogecoin shows a slight upward trend. The price has been fluctuating within the support of $0.211 and the resistance of $0.223. The RSI indicates that the asset is currently within a neutral range, fluctuating between 45 and 56. The Bollinger Bands show that the price is currently near the middle band, suggesting potential for either upward or downward movement. Considering these factors, I recommend a moderately bullish strategy. We will initiate a long position when the RSI dips below 40, signaling an oversold condition. The entry price will be $0.21. To manage risk, we will set a stop-loss order at $0.205, just below the lower Bollinger Band. The target price will be $0.23, aligning with the resistance level. To refine the strategy, we will incorporate Bollinger Band signals. If the price breaks above the upper Bollinger Band, indicating an overbought condition, we will consider taking profits early. However, given the current trend, we will primarily focus on the RSI-driven entry and exit points. Therefore, if the price reaches $0.23, we will secure profits. If the RSI falls below 40, we will enter the market at $0.21, set a stop loss at $0.205, and target a profit at $0.23. This strategy balances potential gains with risk mitigation, capitalizing on the slight upward trend while protecting against significant losses. Based on the historical data and forecast, TRON shows a slightly downward trend with periods of consolidation. The RSI fluctuates between 45 and 80, indicating periods of both overbought and oversold conditions. The Bollinger Bands have been contracting, suggesting lower volatility. Given the current RSI of 48.3 and the forecast prices hovering around 0.343 to 0.344, I recommend a cautious long position. We will enter a long position at $0.343, placing a stop-loss order at $0.337, right below the established support level. The initial target price will be $0.348, the resistance level, aiming for a quick profit. To refine the strategy, we will incorporate the Bollinger Bands. If the price touches the lower band, around $0.331, it signals a potential oversold condition, reinforcing the long entry. Conversely, if the price reaches the upper band, around $0.366, it suggests an overbought condition, prompting us to adjust the target price to $0.366. If the price hits $0.348, we can move the stop-loss to the entry point, $0.343, to secure profits and manage risk. This combined RSI and Bollinger Band strategy offers a balanced approach, capitalizing on both momentum and volatility signals to maximize returns while minimizing potential losses. Based on the historical data and forecast, Chainlink shows a slight upward trend, although with considerable volatility. The RSI consistently fluctuates around the 50 mark, indicating neither strong overbought nor oversold conditions recently. The Bollinger Bands have been widening, suggesting increasing price volatility. Considering the support price at $22.5 and resistance price at $26.3, and the forecast prices hovering around $24.6 to $25.0, I recommend a moderately bullish strategy. We will enter a long position at $24.2. A stop-loss should be placed just below the support level at $22.7 to protect against unexpected downturns. The initial target price will be set at $25.4, aiming for a conservative profit. To refine this strategy, we'll incorporate the RSI and Bollinger Bands. If the RSI dips below 40, indicating an oversold condition, we'll enter a long position at the prevailing price, with a stop-loss at $22.5 and a target price of $25.5. Conversely, if the price touches the bottom of the Bollinger Bands, which has been around $21.4, it signals a potential buying opportunity. We'll enter a long position at $21.7, with a stop-loss at $21.2 and a target price of $24.8. Combining these three strategies, the most efficient portfolio will be to enter a long position at $24.2, with a stop-loss at $22.7 and a target price of $25.4. Based on the historical data and forecast, Wrapped Beacon ETH exhibits a fluctuating trend with recent consolidation around the 4,700 to 4,900 range. The RSI consistently remains between 50 and 67, indicating neither strong overbought nor oversold conditions. The Bollinger Bands show a narrowing trend, suggesting decreasing volatility. Considering the forecast prices, a slight upward momentum is anticipated, potentially reaching 50-60 by September 10, 2025. Therefore, I propose a moderately bullish strategy. We will enter a long position at $4,840 with a stop-loss set at $4,640, coinciding with the established support level. Our initial target price will be $4,980, aligning with the first forecast price and a reasonable profit margin. To refine the strategy, we will implement a dynamic target based on the Bollinger Bands. If the price touches the upper band, we will adjust the target price to $5,030, capitalizing on the predicted upward movement. If the price reaches $5,030, we will move the stop-loss to $4,800 to protect the profits. This approach combines the RSI and Bollinger Band signals, creating a robust portfolio that adapts to changing market conditions while maximizing potential returns. This strategy balances risk and reward, aiming for consistent gains in a moderately bullish market. Based on the historical data and forecast, Sui has been exhibiting a sideways trend with fluctuations around the $3.3 to $3.4 range. The RSI values generally hover between 40 and 50, indicating neutral momentum. The Bollinger Bands have been narrowing recently, suggesting a potential for a breakout. Considering the current conditions, I propose a moderately bullish strategy. We will enter a long position when the price touches the support level of $3.2, with a stop-loss placed just below the support at $3.15. The initial target price will be the resistance level of $3.41. To enhance the strategy, we will incorporate the RSI and Bollinger Band signals. If the RSI dips below 30, indicating an oversold condition, we will hold the position, anticipating a bounce. Conversely, if the price touches the upper Bollinger Band, we will consider taking partial profits at $3.45 and adjusting the stop-loss to break even. For the forecast period, if the price breaks above $3.41, we will raise the target price to $3.5. This combined approach balances risk and reward, aiming for high returns while protecting against potential losses. Based on the historical data and forecast, Lido DAO shows a slightly decreasing trend with volatility. The RSI consistently fluctuates around the 50 level, indicating neither strong overbought nor oversold conditions. Bollinger Bands suggest periods of increased volatility, with prices occasionally touching the upper and lower bands. Considering these factors, a combined strategy leveraging RSI and Bollinger Bands is recommended. We will initiate a long position when the price touches the lower Bollinger Band and the RSI falls below 45, aiming to capitalize on potential rebounds. The entry price will be $1.24, coinciding with the forecast price and the lower Bollinger Band. A stop-loss will be placed at the support level of $1.16 to limit potential losses if the price continues to decline. The initial target price will be $1.3, aligning with the center of the Bollinger Bands and a reasonable profit margin. If the price reaches $1.3, we will consider moving the stop-loss to the entry price of $1.24 to secure profits and manage risk. A secondary target price of $1.53, the resistance level, will be considered for a more aggressive profit-taking strategy. This combined approach aims to maximize returns while mitigating risks associated with market volatility. Based on the historical data and forecast, Ether.fi has been fluctuating within a defined range, with a support price of $1.03 and a resistance price of $1.28. The RSI values have largely remained between 43.0 and 57.3, indicating neither strong overbought nor oversold conditions. The Bollinger Bands show periods of volatility, with the price occasionally touching the upper and lower bands. Considering the recent price action and the forecast for the next week, I recommend a moderately bullish strategy. We will initiate a long position at $1.09, placing a stop-loss order at $1.03 to limit potential losses. The initial target price will be $1.15, aiming to capitalize on the upward trend suggested by the forecast and the potential for a bounce from the support level. To refine this strategy, we'll incorporate RSI signals. If the price retraces to $1.07 and the RSI falls below 40, indicating an oversold condition, we can enter a long position at $1.07 with a stop-loss at $1.03. The target price for this entry would be $1.14. Furthermore, if the price approaches the upper Bollinger Band, around $1.15, and the RSI reaches 75, suggesting an overbought condition, we should consider taking profits or tightening the stop-loss to protect gains. This multi-layered approach, combining trend analysis, RSI signals, and Bollinger Band observations, offers a balanced strategy with defined risk management and profit-taking levels. Based on the historical data and forecast, Arweave demonstrates a fluctuating trend with a recent downward bias. The support price consistently remains at $6.07, while the resistance fluctuates around $7.31. The RSI values hover around the mid-range, indicating neither strong overbought nor oversold conditions. However, the forecast prices suggest a slight downward pressure initially, stabilizing around $6.24. Considering these factors, I recommend a moderately conservative strategy focusing on potential bounces from the support level. My strategy involves entering a long position when the price touches the support level of $6.07. The stop-loss should be set slightly below the support at $5.97 to mitigate potential downside risk. The initial target price is set at $6.49, aiming for a modest profit. If the price breaks above $6.49 and the RSI reaches 60, a second target price can be set at $6.87. This approach combines the support level as an entry trigger with RSI and Bollinger Bands to manage risk and maximize potential returns. This portfolio is designed for high returns. Based on the historical data and forecast, Decentraland shows a slight upward trend. The price has been fluctuating within the range of $0.274 to $0.312. The RSI consistently remains between 43.7 and 57.6, indicating neither extreme oversold nor overbought conditions. The Bollinger Bands are narrowing, suggesting a period of consolidation. Considering the forecast prices, which predict a rise to $0.32, I recommend a long position strategy. We will enter a long position at $0.297. The stop loss will be set at $0.287, just below the recent support level and the lower Bollinger Band. The initial target price will be $0.315, aligning with the forecast price and the upper Bollinger Band. To refine this strategy, we'll incorporate RSI signals. If the RSI drops below 20, indicating an oversold condition, we'll hold the position, anticipating a potential bounce. Conversely, if the RSI reaches 80 or higher, suggesting an overbought condition, we'll consider taking partial profits at $0.312 and moving the stop loss to break even. This combined approach, leveraging both Bollinger Bands and RSI, aims to maximize potential returns while mitigating risk. The final target price will be $0.32, based on the forecast. Based on the historical data and forecast, Aave shows a slight upward trend with periods of consolidation. The RSI consistently fluctuates around the 50 level, indicating neither strong overbought nor oversold conditions. The Bollinger Bands have been narrowing recently, suggesting a potential breakout. Considering these factors, I propose a moderately bullish strategy. We will enter a long position at $320, coinciding with the initial forecast price and a recent support level. A stop loss will be placed at $307, just below the established support price, to limit potential losses. The target price is set at $330, aligning with the forecast price and the upper Bollinger Band. To refine this strategy, we will incorporate a dynamic RSI-based adjustment. If the RSI rises above 60, we will move the stop loss to $317, securing some profit. Conversely, if the RSI falls below 50, we will consider exiting the position early at $326 to avoid potential losses. This adaptive approach combines the initial forecast with risk management techniques, aiming for a balanced and high-return investment in Aave. The portfolio will be 60% long Aave, 20% cash, and 20% in stable coins. Based on the historical data and forecast, Pendle exhibits a downtrend with periods of consolidation. The price has been fluctuating between a support of $4.51 and a resistance of $4.81. The RSI readings indicate oversold conditions on several days, particularly around 40.8, suggesting potential short-term bounces. The Bollinger Bands show the price approaching the lower band, which could signal a possible rebound. Considering this, I recommend a contrarian strategy focusing on short-term pullbacks. My strategy involves entering long positions when the RSI dips below 40, aiming to capitalize on potential bounces off the support level of $4.51. Specifically, I suggest a long entry at $4.67. A stop loss should be placed just below the support at $4.51 to limit potential losses. The initial target price should be set at $4.81, aligning with the resistance level. If the price breaks through $4.81, a trailing stop loss can be employed to capture further gains. This approach balances risk and reward, leveraging short-term momentum while protecting against significant downside risks. Based on the historical data and forecast, Ethena shows a mixed trend with periods of volatility. The RSI fluctuates around the 50 level, indicating neither strong overbought nor oversold conditions. However, the price has recently approached the lower Bollinger Band, suggesting a potential for a short-term bounce. Considering the support level at $0.716 and the forecast prices hovering around $0.72, I recommend a long position with an entry price of $0.683. To manage risk, place a stop-loss order at $0.622, just below the recent low. For the target price, aim for the resistance level of $0.81, representing a significant upside potential. To refine this strategy, I will incorporate the Bollinger Bands. If the price breaks above the upper Bollinger Band, consider taking profits early. Conversely, if the price touches the lower Bollinger Band and the RSI is below 30, this could be an opportunity to enter a long position. The predicted price movement based on the forecast data suggests a gradual increase, aligning with the long strategy. Therefore, the portfolio will prioritize the long strategy with a conservative approach, focusing on the support and resistance levels and incorporating the Bollinger Bands for dynamic adjustments. This combination aims to maximize returns while mitigating potential losses. Based on the historical data and forecast, Virtual's protocol exhibits a downtrend, with the price fluctuating within a defined range between the support price of $1.12 and the resistance price of $1.38. The RSI values generally hover between 40 and 50, indicating a neutral to slightly bearish momentum. The Bollinger Bands show periods of contraction and expansion, suggesting potential volatility. Considering the forecast for the next week, the price is expected to remain around $1.06 to $1.03, reinforcing the downtrend. Therefore, I recommend a short selling strategy with an entry price of $1.15. The stop loss should be set just above the resistance level at $1.34 to protect against unexpected upward movements. The target price for this short position is $1.03, aiming to capitalize on the anticipated downward trend. To refine this strategy, we can incorporate the RSI and Bollinger Bands. When the RSI falls below 30, it signals an oversold condition, suggesting a potential bounce. Conversely, an RSI above 70 indicates an overbought condition, hinting at a possible pullback. If the price touches the bottom of the Bollinger Bands and the RSI is below 30, consider a long position with an entry price of $1.03. Place the stop-loss slightly below the bottom band at $1.02 and set the target price at $1.14. Combining both strategies, a diversified portfolio can be created by allocating a portion of the capital to short selling and another to potential long positions based on RSI and Bollinger Band signals, maximizing returns while managing risk effectively. Based on the historical data and forecast, Maple Finance shows a mixed trend with periods of consolidation and upward movement. The RSI fluctuating between 40 and 60 suggests that the asset is neither strongly overbought nor oversold, indicating a balanced market sentiment. The Bollinger Bands have been narrowing recently, suggesting a period of low volatility followed by a potential breakout. The forecast data indicates a continued upward trend with prices expected to reach $0.486. Considering these factors, I recommend a long position strategy. We will enter a long position at $0.458. The initial stop loss will be set at $0.438, just below the lower Bollinger Band, to protect against a potential downside reversal. Our primary target price will be $0.486, aligning with the forecast data and the recent resistance level. If the price reaches this target, we will move the stop loss to break even to secure profits. A secondary target price can be set at $0.569, the resistance level, for further gains. This strategy combines RSI and Bollinger Band signals to maximize potential returns while managing risk effectively. Based on the historical data and forecast, exhibits a mixed trend with periods of volatility. The RSI fluctuates between 33.7 and 56.4, indicating both oversold and overbought conditions. The Bollinger Bands show periods of contraction and expansion, suggesting potential price breakouts. Given the recent dip and the forecast prices hovering around 3.42 to 3.37, I recommend a long position with a conservative approach. We will enter a long position at $3.42, placing a stop-loss order at $3.31 to mitigate potential losses. The initial target price will be $3.61, aiming to capitalize on a potential bounce from the support level. To refine this strategy, we'll incorporate the RSI and Bollinger Band signals. If the RSI falls below 20, indicating an oversold condition, we'll consider entering a long position at the bottom of the Bollinger Bands, around $3.31, with a stop loss at $3.24. Conversely, if the RSI exceeds 80, signaling an overbought condition, we'll consider a short position at the top of the Bollinger Bands, around $3.93, with a stop loss at $3.99. For the primary strategy, if the price reaches $3.61, we'll move the stop loss to the entry price of $3.42 to secure profits. This blended approach, combining trend analysis, RSI, and Bollinger Bands, aims to maximize returns while managing risk effectively.